On a morning like any other, as dawn broke over the waters, Simon Peter and Andrew cast their nets into the Sea of Galilee. Their hands, weathered by years of honest work, moved with practiced grace. Suddenly, Jesus of Nazareth appeared, calling out, "Follow me, and I will make you fishers of men." His words stirred their hearts. Without hesitation, they left their nets and followed him, leaving behind all they knew for a promise unseen. Even now, this moment asks us, would we answer the call, forsaking comfort for a greater purpose? In surrender, we find our true calling. Peter, Andrew, James, and John were men of the sea, steadfast, diligent, and known by their labor and faithfulness. Their hands bore the marks of toil, their faces etched by sun and wind. Their families awaited them on the shore, woven into a tapestry of faith and daily work. Their lives were not lacking, nor their hearts empty. Their labors were fruitful, their joys shared, their blessings multiplied. To leave all this was not to flee from failure, but to answer a higher call, trusting in the promise of something greater. They chose faith over familiarity, stepping into the unknown at the invitation, "Follow me." Sometimes the Lord calls us to leave behind what is good, not only what is broken, inviting us to trust Him for something greater. Why did these men forsake all they knew? What could move ordinary fishermen to leave behind their nets and families? In a single, divinely appointed moment, they turned from the familiar to follow a call greater than themselves. Deep within every heart is a longing, a hunger for meaning. There's a still small voice that asks if there is more than the toil under the sun. When Jesus called, He offered a purpose rooted in heaven. "Follow me, and I will make you fishers of men." He invited them to join a mission that would transform not only their lives, but the world. Our souls whisper, "Is there more? Is there a reason for my days?" A calling that transcends comfort and routine. The disciples answered, "Yes." They heeded the whisper of deeper purpose, and in following Christ, they found life abundant. What will your answer be? To follow Jesus was to forsake all, just as Peter, Andrew, James, and John left their nets at His call. They departed from all they had known, echoing Abraham who left his country, not knowing where he was going. No promise of earthly reward was given, only the words, "Follow me." The path was unmarked, like Israel wandering in the wilderness, led only by faith. The journey ahead was veiled, the destination unseen. They did not know where the Son of Man would lay His head, nor what daily bread would come. They faced the unknown, not knowing if they would be received or rejected, as Jesus warned, "Whoever does not receive you, shake the dust from your feet." Each step was a step of faith, not by sight. They risked scorn and reproach, for a prophet is not without honor except in his own town. They left behind their livelihoods, trusting in the Lord's provision, as the widow gave her last mite. They parted from loved ones, remembering Jesus' words, "Whoever loves father or mother more than me is not worthy of me." Yet they answered, "Here I am, Lord." Into the unknown they walked, trusting the Good Shepherd who calls His sheep by name. Their courage was not in knowing the future, but in trusting the one who holds it. Their hope was in Christ alone, the author and finisher of their faith. Every yes to God is a step onto the waters, like Peter stepping from the boat. The way is narrow, and few find it, but it leads to life everlasting. For those who trust and obey, the promise is sure. Eye has not seen, nor ear heard, what God has prepared for those who love Him. The Lord does not look at the outward appearance, but at the heart. Jesus called Simon Peter and Andrew from their nets, Matthew from his tax booth, and many others who were humble in spirit. They were unlearned and ordinary, as the scriptures say, unschooled, ordinary men. Acts 4:13. They possessed neither riches nor renown, but their hearts were open to God's call. They were men and women of humble estate, living simple lives. Why did the Messiah choose such as these? For the Lord delights to use the weak to shame the strong, and the lowly to confound the wise. 1 Corinthians 1:27. He sees worth where the world sees none, for man looks at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. 1 Samuel 16:7. Greatness is not measured by titles or earthly honor, but by the willingness to answer, "Here am I, send me." Isaiah 6:8. Their ordinariness became their testimony. They were vessels, ready to be filled. They knew toil and hardship, as did the prophets before them. They were not lifted up in pride, but walked humbly with their God. Micah 6:8. When Jesus called, they left all and followed him. Luke 5:11. The Lord still calls ordinary people today, as he did in days of old. You need not be mighty or noble. Only say, "Speak, Lord, for your servant is listening." 1 Samuel 3:10. The Lord did not cast aside the disciples' labors. Their toil upon the waters had forged patience, unity, and steadfastness, virtues honored throughout the scriptures. As men who discerned the signs of the sky and the sea, they were prepared for the calling of God. They endured the night's watch, bearing one another's burdens, as Ecclesiastes says, "Two are better than one, for if they fall, one will lift up his fellow." Christ called them, saying, "Follow me, and I will make you fishers of men." No longer would they gather fish, but souls, casting nets of hope and faith. Their hands, once skilled in mending nets, now became instruments for the kingdom. For as Romans declares, all things work together for good to those who love God. Your trials, your strengths, your journey, each is woven into God's greater purpose. The disciples' nets were not abandoned, but redeemed for a higher calling. When you answer the Lord's call, you do not lose yourself. You are renewed. In Christ, your gifts shine forth anew, as vessels for His glory. In the days when Jesus walked by the Sea of Galilee, He called out to fishermen mending their nets. Like Simon and Andrew, we too have our nets, those things we grasp for security, our work, our possessions, our daily routines. Yet as the Lord said, "Follow me, and I will make you fishers of men." Sometimes our nets entangle us, keeping us from the path God has prepared. To leave behind what is known is never easy, just as the disciples left their boats and nets at once, trusting in His call. They counted the cost, and faced true loss for the sake of Christ. Their nets could not journey with them. They left them on the shore, stepping out in faith. To follow Jesus, they forsook the familiar, believing His promise. Whoever loses his life for my sake will find it. What of us? What nets do we cling to, unwilling to surrender? Are there treasures or fears that keep us from answering the Lord's call, as the rich young ruler turned away sorrowful? The first step is to search our hearts, to see what we hold more dearly than Him. Surrender is not without struggle, but it is the way of discipleship. For when we let go, we step into the abundant life Christ has promised, trusting that He is faithful to lead us into something greater. In these days, the call may not echo from the shores of Galilee. Instead, it may come as a still small voice, like Elijah heard on the mountain. It may stir your heart to serve the least of these, as Jesus taught, to give generously, to be transformed, to love as Christ first loved us. The harvest is still plentiful, and the world still needs laborers willing to say, "Here I am, Lord, send me." Each day we stand at crossroads, choosing whom we will serve. Will we remain in the comfort of our own tents, as Abraham once did? Or will we step out in faith, not knowing where the path may lead, as Abraham did when called by God? The invitation to follow is as strong today as when Jesus said, "Come, follow me." Our daily bread, our routines, our blessings, these are gifts from above. Yet sometimes, the Lord calls us to leave what is familiar and step into the unknown. Sometimes, we are asked to trust in the Lord with all our heart, and lean not on our own understanding. What miracles might unfold if you answered, "Yes, Lord"? What new calling, what greater purpose might God reveal to you? As it is written, "Follow me," Jesus called, and the disciples left their nets at once, trusting the voice that beckoned them into the unknown. Their yes echoed Abraham's faith, Moses' courage, and Mary's surrender. Through obedience, they became vessels for God's kingdom on earth. They entered into God's unfolding story, a story of redemption, hope, and purpose that continues through all generations. For whoever loses his life for my sake will find it. True treasure is not stored in barns or purses, but in the lives we touch and the love we give, just as Christ gave Himself for us. Our security is not in what we possess, but in the One who holds tomorrow. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. The call remains. Come, follow me. The invitation is for you as it was for them. Step out in faith, believing that God can do immeasurably more than all we ask or imagine through those who trust Him. The nets you lay down today may become the seeds of a new calling tomorrow. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Cast your cares upon Him. Take the first step, as Peter did upon the water, trusting the one who calls you forward. Walk in faith. Live the story God has written for you from the foundation of the world.